In the day in Sri Lanka where we spent it in the orphanage, we spent time really trying to make sure I keep it together. The only person that actually is not connected to this organization or doesn't know anybody personally that suffers from the disease, I'll be the one that cries. But I remember spending the day, and I won't go into the details because I literally would break down, but I mean, these little girls and boys literally went to school one day and were wiped out. Their parents were wiped out by a wave that hit their villages and so on. But I remember going and giving them little gifts, little teddy bears. And by the way, I'm not trying to claim we did this. We didn't. We were just a part of this. It was a much bigger team. And we'd give them little teddy bears. They were tiny little things. And they'd open up the wrapping paper and they'd fold it back and they'd keep the wrapping paper really respectfully. And when the kids walked around, there was none of this. That's mine. They'd take the teddy bear, they'd look, and they'd give it back to the other little kids. And it was absolutely incredible. In fact, I'm going to tell you a little story. I normally do PowerPoint and stuff like that. Tonight I didn't really know I didn't know where to go with this, so I just said I'd come here today and just see what happens. And there was a girl actually at the end of the room, and she didn't participate in the magic show and the different things that were going on. And I went to the map and showed them where Ireland was and all this kind of stuff, and it was kind of fun and quite moving. And this girl, she sat at the end of this table and she was kind of drawing away. And at one point I was kind of concerned, but it wasn't my place. But I went down to her. And as I went down to her, she covered over this picture she was drawing. And all I saw was a bird flying through the sky, or what I thought was a bird. About 5 or 6 hours later, we were being put back in a bus. And this girl hadn't moved all day. She had given up all of these experiences. And I was just about to get on the bus, and someone tipped me on the shoulder. I turned around, it was a little girl, and she handed me a painting. The painting she had given up all of her time to paint, and she just said, "Thank you for coming here." Perspective. I ran a workshop one day, and there was about 25 business owners and entrepreneurs and executives in the room. And it was really about getting clear and creating some meaning in their lives and then going off, because the business stuff is easy, I think. The money piece is easy. We can then build a business to support it. But what became very apparent in this circle was everybody else wanted everybody else's life. It was absolutely unbelievable. That's not for the first time, but in this particular occasion, it was outstanding. It was absolutely outstanding, the comparables across the room. One gentleman had a very successful business in money terms. He was stressed out. He had no peace of mind, which is the ultimate goal for every human being, whether we know it or not. Some of us are just a bit slow getting there. He had absolutely no peace of mind, and his justification for a lack of peace of mind and not really being happy in life was that, well, he's building his business. I'm building my business. So what's the big goal? Like, why are you trying to build your business? I said, well, I really want to buy a house in North Vancouver, where I live. I said, oh, what kind of house are you going to buy? He says, well, it's about 4,500 square foot. I think it was 4,000 to 4,500. I'm not judging anybody with that size of a house. That's not the purpose of it. But when it comes at the cost of his peace of mind, well, then it's just not worth it. I said, oh, I forgot. I can be a real ass on purpose. I forgot. I said, you've got 12 kids. I keep forgetting that. And he goes, no, real seriously, no, Phillip, I've just got one kid. I said, well, why? Why are you doing this? There was a guy directly across, as if I set this up, directly across and said, I did that. I spent 5 or 6 years attaining the money and the so-called freedom to go and actually buy that house, and it actually didn't work out the way I thought it would. Somebody else in the room was completely financially free. In other words, they didn't have to work a day in their life, but they had no meaning in their life. And they were there to get some clarity around that. There was another woman in the room who went to the World Cup and played in the World Cup finals for Canada, who was trying to convince me that she was passionate about soccer. Turns out she had spent 10 years chasing the dream of attention and appreciation from her father, which even when she got to the World Cup finals, she didn't actually get that. She hated soccer, like Andre Agassi hated tennis all his life. And one more exercise I'm going to give you, and then I'm going to be finishing up in a few minutes. It's just something to maybe contemplate, maybe when you leave here, maybe do this yourself. is I do, again, I'm a massive believer in simplicity. We're masters as human beings of two things: complicating our lives and then justifying why we've done it. We are masters at it. Like, incredible. I have people come from, well, I'm happy in my job. I've got a great relationship. I mean, I love where I live, but I want to get to the next level. Whoever invented the next level, if they're in this room, I'm going to shoot you. I will shoot you. If I can't shoot you, I'll strangle you, because this next level is the obsession that takes away. And when you talk about perspective, ladies and gentlemen, all you've got to do is open your eyes and your ears and hear the stories in this room tonight. I don't even know where I was going with that. I had a story. It'll come back to me. I genuinely, and I'm not just standing up here saying it, I pride myself in living what I speak. I really do. I value my time, and I'm here tonight on my time. Okay, I know some of you are parents, but I do actually have the cutest little boy at home. He is absolutely incredible. My wife is heavily pregnant. And a day for me is waking up beside my pregnant wife, having a chat in the morning, walking my little boy to daycare, going up to the office, because it's all about 500 meters or 600 meters in circumference, because I've built my lifestyle like that. I work with people across Canada, across the world now. I write speeches, I'm writing a new book, and so on and so forth. I talk about the future. I contemplate the past, and I work very, very hard to be in the present. I come home, and sometimes to get away from it all, I escape in a movie. The more people that are shot, blown up, and bullets go off, the better maybe for me, because sometimes I just need to escape into something other than what I do, which I love, but it is tough. But I also want to give you perspective on that, because I know we've heard a lot about Nikki, and respectfully, there's a different type of person in this room that I want to acknowledge, and that is the deans of this world. Nikki's husband. His days look a little bit different. I rang him the other night and I interviewed him. I asked him some fairly tough questions. He wakes up some days and he's got to do physiotherapy on his wife. She's not out of bed in the mornings because it takes her a while to get going and breathing and clearing her lungs. And excuse me if I don't get the terminology right, this is all new to me. Sometimes he might walk downstairs past the different empty bedrooms, because there is no kids in those bedrooms. He can talk about the future, but that's kind of hard to do. Even the past can be painful. He said to me, you know what, we put on a good face, but CF sucks. Where do you go from there? So for the unsung heroes, such as this man, I'd like you to give them a round of applause, please. I have never once in my entire life told a joke on stage. Ever. But do you want me to tell you a joke tonight?
You're Irish, you have to.
I swear to God, I've never ever told a joke. Actually, I'm not sure I like jokes. But like on stage and stuff like that, I'm not necessarily one of these kind of guys who tries to be funny. But there is a joke I was thinking about, and I just thought in the context of the evening, I don't want to leave it on a, I just, sometimes we need to have a laugh. When we saw the video, we need to have a bit of a laugh. There's no pressure, It's like a guy my dad used to know on the golf course. He'd always say, oh, this story's hilarious. It's so funny. Well, I tell you, my dad finally said, you tell the story and let me decide whether it's hilarious. So Anyway, there's three guys in a prison in the middle of a desert. Paddy Irishman, Paddy Englishman, and Paddy Scotsman. They decided they were going to escape. So they broke out, just when it got dark, and they tore across this desert. And they said if they can get to the little bay where the boats pull out before the sun rises, before the guards find out that they're actually missing, they might get on the first ship out in the morning and they'll get to freedom. So they're heading through the desert, and they're almost about to give up. And one of the guys gets to the top of this hill, and he looks out over there, and he goes, guys, there's the boat. There's the boat. It's fueling up. The engines are on. Let's go. So the three boys run down along the pier, and they dive into the boat. They're going, the boat's just about to pull off, and the next minute a big truck pulls up, and all the army jump out because they know they're missing. The guys go, oh no, we're in trouble now. So let's go down to the belly of the boat and hide. So they go down to the belly of the boat, and they find themselves in the storage area where all the salt is, and the seeds, and all these bags and boxes of stuff. And they find 3 sacks, and they jump into them and zip them up and jump in with all the other stuff. And the guards come down, they open up the door, and they come in with big knives, and they're digging in the knives into all the sacks. And they come up to the 3 sacks the guys are in. And they come up to Paddy Englishman, they go, and he goes, woof, woof, woof. It's just dogs. And they go to the next one, and Paddy Scotsman's in, and they go like this, and they stick it in, and meow. So it's cats. And then they come over to the one with the Irish guys in, they stick it in, and he goes, potatoes! And while that makes the Irish people look quite bad and a little bit stupid, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you, Phillip. You make me laugh, which is one of the greatest gifts anybody can have. It reminds me a lot of my dad. My dad's Irish, and he didn't have the accent, but boy, he had the humor, and he would have loved that joke. I miss my dad dearly, but you speak of the happiest days of your life, and I can pick out 2 right here. You say your wife said it was the wedding. I have to say it because she's in front of me. Your wife's at home. You could say the stag. Although the stag was fun, I just only remember a couple hours of it. But marrying Joanne, and then obviously my daughter Darcy, having her for the first 2 hours of her life changed my life forever. Those are 2 of the happiest days. And I look at Nikki, and I see you and Dean. And Dean, I admire you more than anybody. And Nikki, you hooked me, you took me, and yes, I'm your friend forever, and I walk in your footprints every day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much does it. Beesley and I, where are you? There he is. Beesley and I are actually speechless, and that never happens. Ask anyone we know. We've said it all tonight a couple times. This is one of them. We are absolutely honored, both of us from the bottom of our hearts, to be your hosts for this evening. Thank you so much for having us. And that does it for us. We will see you next year at the next lung function. Thank you guys so much.
The 2011 C-Effort Lung Function is brought to you by Cardel Homes, really well built. Canada Safeway, ingredients for life. Canadian View Corp, visual thinking. Alberta Print Services, your one-stop shop for all your print needs. MEG Energy. Gilead, advancing therapeutics, improving lives. That's why we're here. And Barefoot Wine and Bubbly,